Hello trader, dollar yen and GBP JPY, both of these instruments currently showing significant trading opportunity in this market. So first look at dollar yen from the multi-time frame perspective to see where the market is heading, and then we will be looking at also the lower time frame to see potential entry opportunity. Looking at monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that this is the first day of the month, pretty fresh new candle has opened on monthly on dollar yen, and we can see as soon as the market opened after initial pullback, the price started to potentially drop here. And this is a long term, after back to back 3 months of drop here on dollar yen, we saw that this month there has been significant pullback to the upside, and we can expect now to feel some of this monthly long week. And if we look at the 50% at least or near to that on the monthly to retest from the long term picture, we can see that dollar yen may potentially drop to this monthly 20 EMA, and also it is an important support level. Even if we could see the dollar yen ultimately breaking back to the major direction of the trend, short term perspective, we can expect for the market to fill that zone retest before bouncing back up or dropping back down. So from the monthly, we can expect 100 pip or more potential drop in this market. So keeping it in mind, looking at the weekly chart to see what kind of price action it has formed here. Now, previous weekly candle, we saw that there was a long week rejection on dollar yen, and with that long week rejection, the market from that rejection area this week, initially we have seen that after a little pullback, the bulls couldn't break this high. Instead, we saw the market started to drop here, and this is a long week candle so far. And from that long week candle, as the price already has initially dropped here, drop back to this weekly resistance line, we could see the dollar yen potentially break below again to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart here, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily price action. There is a daily strong bearish engulfer followed by a daily doji formation, which in fact potentially a pullback. And today, once the market opened, we see the price started to drop here, potential that dollar yen may potentially break below here to fill that long week in that zone to create a new lower low, expecting for the price to come back here to fill that zone and to create potentially a new lower low. So if we look at the 4 hour chart to see what kind of price action it is forming, now this is where we saw that there was a clean head and shoulder from the intraday perspective, and from that head and shoulder there has been clean breakdown in that area. Now if we look at this drop here from the Fibonacci perspective, we see that this is the starting of the impulse to the end of the impulse, and we see the price has got completely rejected from 61 point, which is the golden ratio of this Fibonacci level. And currently the market, whenever going up, we see that there is a rejection. Now this is the current 4 hour candle, and which is also forming a long week doji, and it crossed that high, tested the 20 EMA, and getting a rejection means that the sellers potentially selling this market. Therefore we can expect a short term drop here to that level on dollar yen. So this is where on the lower time frame we'll be waiting for this 4 hour candle to close, as there has been liquidity grab, expecting it to potentially drop to that level. And this is where we'll be looking for potential short setup. Once we see lower time frame price action confirmation, we may look for potential selling opportunity in this market to that level with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at, guys, on GBP JPY to see what kind of price action it is forming. Now GJ, as like the dollar yen, we see there is a monthly close, and with the new monthly opening, as soon as the price open, we see the sellers started to take control here, and we can see the price is starting to drop here and potentially coming back below to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the weekly chart here on GBPJPY, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly impulse here, pretty strong bounce followed by, we can see that weekly pullback here, and this is the current weekly candle. And so far we saw that initial drop, which is a sign that the market for long term picture may remain bearish in this instrument. Now as the market already on the weekly resistance, expecting after retest for the price to come back here in that direction. Now if we look at the daily chart here on GBPJPY, we can see that from the daily, this is the daily bearish engulfer followed by daily doji here, and we can see that here in that area, this is a narrow zone in that market on GJ. And what we can see, the market form series of lower high in that area, expecting GBPJPY potentially come back here to this daily support level, which is an important liquidity zone. Now for our perspective on GJ, we see that back to back quite a few narrow doji formation series of lower high, and this session the market has crossed that zone, and the market again breaking below here in that direction to create a new lower low. And lower time frame, if we look at GJ, we can see that after this drop the market again pushing up for a pullback. This is where with a price action confirmation we will be looking for potential selling opportunity like the dollar yen on GBPJPY with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoyed this education and analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also join the free Telegram channel more for more updated education and analysis that I'm posting every single day. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.